Yo, peace, peace. You already know who the fuck it is. Let's get right into it. What's good? What's good? We ain't wasting no time. What's the topic? Why has occult understanding been veiled in secrecy? There's a difference between knowledge and understanding, so let's make that clear. So when I say occult understanding, I'm not talking about occult knowledge. See, this is what I'm talking about, right? Occult knowledge is not hidden anymore. Everybody knows the basics of everything. Everybody at least knows, about the chakras. Everybody at least knows about meditation, about the archangels, about, deities, Hindu deities, American deities, voodoo. None of these things are secret anymore. However, there's very few people who understand these things. We have the knowledge. But what's the difference between knowledge and understanding? Understanding is developed after you have personal experience and you can reflect back on what you have done. For example, you have to study for a test. That will be the knowledge. When you actually take the test, that is the wisdom. When you actually reflect on the test that you've taken and you get your grade A, B, C, D, or F, that's your understanding because you have actually put the work in and you are now reflecting on the work you have put in. So how do you get from occult knowledge to occult understanding, and why is all this secret? So now that we understand occult knowledge is no longer secret, you can learn anything you want. No one's going to stop you from learning anything. You can go to any place in the world, go to any library. This occult information is no longer secret. However, very few people understand what they're reading, what they are experiencing. What's the difference? Because it takes more than a book. It takes more than someone telling you for you to understand, right? This is what I've been talking about for the past couple days. You have to have personal experience so that you know how it works for you. If you want to understand your path, you have to select your archetype. In the collective unconscious, there are various archetypes. We embody one of these various archetypes, but we have to discover which archetype we embody. And it's not a decision that has to be made consciously. It's a decision that has been predestined for us. We have already chosen our path. It's predestined. It has already been written in the stars. There is no God dictating your life. It was already chosen by you. We came into this world knowing that we had to embody a certain archetype so that we have the certain type of experiences we have. Some people are ashamed that they suffered in life, that they had to go through hardship, that they may have had fucked up parents, that they may have had to go through the underworld and the streets. Some people look at that as a negative, as a bad thing. Now realizing that this is absolutely necessary. Why? Because it activates the energy of Saturn within you, the root chakra. It teaches you how to survive, how to make do on your own. Something that no one can really teach you like a teacher teaches a student. You have to go through it. You have to navigate through this world to understand this world. No one can tell you about the world. You have to navigate it yourself to develop your own understanding of this world. This includes spirits. This also includes the occult. This is why I say we have the pantheon. We have the platform already. None of this stuff is new. We have to take it to the next level. We have to take the occult to the next level. It's already there. How do you take it to the next level? You cannot be afraid to experiment. You cannot be afraid to fuck some shit up. You have to know what's real and you have to know what's fake based on personal experience. Let me give you an example of what I mean. More popular deities, the most popular deities or spirits, they are weak because so many people pull on their energy. For example, the Jesus frequency. You know how many motherfuckers worship this punk, right? So for you to call upon Jesus when there's millions of people calling upon the same energy, what make you think that it will favor you? This is the reason why we study deeper. We go deeper. Because when you work with deities that are asleep, that nobody really fucks with, then they will show you favoritism. Like, oh shit, you woke me up? Oh, you want to work? You're trying to get it in, you're trying to put some work in, then let's do it. There's no problems. But try to Bring that shit to a Jesus. Try to bring that shit to an Allah. They're going to shut you down because that's not where the power is. You have to wake motherfuckers up. This is what necromancy is. This is what sorcery is. You have to wake up the sleeping gods, the sleeping devils, not the ones that's already woke, getting this abundance of energy by millions of people. That's not how it works. That's why demons exist. For anybody who wants to know why do demons exist, because these are the energies that are actually sleeping or older deities. Before we knew anything about a Jesus or an Allah, what we consider demons now were already in rotation. People were already worshiping what we call demons today. They are just the older spirits before religion came in. So before there was religion, before people were monotheistic, right? Before it was a one God, theory, take it back to Egypt or anywhere else. Egypt, Greek, Rome, they had pantheons of deities. They had hundreds of deities. So if you look at this on the surface, like, oh, isn't it better that you don't have hundreds of deities anymore? You can channel that energy to one God. Doesn't that make things more simple? Well, the Muslims seem to think so with the Prophet Muhammad, because the story of the Prophet Muhammad is he was destroying the idols in Mecca or Medina. He was destroying the idols because you're like, yo, you should not worship false idols. Okay, so a religious-minded person is going to take that as, okay, you destroyed the false idols to bring in the real God. However, I keep telling motherfuckers, depending on what you study, that will determine how you look. What do I mean? Don't all Muslims look the same? Don't all Christians look the same? Like, you know what a person is into based off their facial features. You know exactly what's going on by looking at them. You don't have to have a conversation with these people. You already know what they're about, because what they reflect from within will reflect on their face and their aura. All this is going to be reflected. So you don't have to ask shit. So when you work with some dark demonic shit, you look differently. You don't look like these other motherfuckers out here. You have a whole different aura because you were not afraid to wake up the sleeping giants that's ready to work, that's ready to fuck some shit up, or that's willing to help you discover your archetype so that you can pull from your own will, right? So you don't even have to rely on spirits. You can pull from your own will. So this is why we have demons. This is why demons exist. These are older spirits that have went to sleep because religion has destroyed them. Whatever worship that they may have been getting in the past has been wiped out. There are no more shrines and rituals dedicated to these things. So the only place that they will fit is within the realm of the demons or the jinns. That's the only place they can go once they have been put to sleep by the powers that be. Does that make them more weaker? No, that just makes them more exclusive. That makes them more exclusive. You have to become exclusive. Meaning, if you want to develop a personal relationship with the so-called God or the so-called devil, you have to do so through their pantheon. What do I mean? This is why we have magical systems to begin with. This is why systems like the 72 Goetia even exist in the first place, because I mention this a lot. The reason why these things even exist is to show us our proper path. These are older energies that will show you a different route. For example, we understand that there's been a lot of bloodshed behind religion. It don't matter which religion you look at, they have spilled blood if you didn't subscribe to what they was pushing. If you said you was not going to be Christian, you're dead. If you said you was not going to be Muslim at a time, you're dead. That's just how seriously they were taking this. So when you worship that shit, you take on that karma. That's why people look the way they look, because you take on the karma of the energy that you worship. So when you take on that bloodshed that has been spilt by your own ancestors have been killed, and you worship the other God that killed them. So of course, you're going to reflect that energy, right? You're going to look very unattractive spiritually, right? You open yourself up to motherfuckers like me fucking you up. And it does not matter if you look just like me. If you do not subscribe to what's real, to what's in your own DNA, what's in your own blood, what's in your own veins, then you are subjected to the fuck shit of this world. Your ass may be gunned down by a cop because you do not claim the shit that's going to protect you when shit gets real. It's as simple as that. You calling on Jesus and the law, when shit get real, your ass is going to be in the ground. Why? Because you would just be another blood sacrifice for a demiurge, a counterfeit spirit, for those who watch Bobby Hemmett. You know, counterfeit spirits, people who look just like you, but that are the complete opposite of you, meaning they are religious minded and not spiritual minded. So when they are religious minded, when we take a look at the news, when we see what's going on with our people, we see madness because they are subscribing to something that's not their own. So they are not shielded or protected. There's no way to shield or protect these people when they worship stuff that's not theirs. They didn't invent it, they didn't create it, they don't understand the knowledge that's involved when you need to put these things together. You have to put the things together. You can't look at it as one science. So if you're a Christian, if you're not studying Gnosticism, you have a problem. If you're Muslim, you're not studying Sufism, you have a problem because you have the esoteric knowledge behind these religions that open up your third eye, because that's the real shit, the Gnosticism, the Sufism, self-deification, your true will manifesting, the Lima, right? But everybody who was speaking real shit has controversy among their name or around their name. Again, the Blavatsky's, the Aleister Crowleys, the Father Divines, the Elijah Muhammads, the Noble Drew Ali's, so on and so forth. All these people have controversy around their lives to discredit their image. The same thing they did to Elijah Muhammad, say he was sleeping with other women outside of his marriage, to discredit his imagery, to discredit his works, even though he was the most successful black man or original man in America ever. But we don't look at him like that because of what he was speaking. He was speaking new age shit 100 years before we caught up on it. He was saying shit 100 years ago that we're just now catching up on. So we don't look at him in his true divinity because we're still catching up. It's a new religion. We are a new people. So when you claim this old shit, this is why you are subjected to that energy. We are a new people with a new way of life. If you don't look at yourself as a new person with a new way of life, if you're still subscribing to these old ways of life, these old religions with all this bloodshed, with all this karma attached to it, we can see why most of our people are getting destroyed on a daily basis, because they have no power to pull on that's real. Now, are people really that fucking stupid? No, it's about business. Do I really believe that people are going to church looking like me and worshiping something that does not look like them and they don't see a problem with that? No, it's about business. It makes them money. They don't give a fuck what the image is. If it's a black Christ, a white Christ, it don't matter. If it makes money, they're going to be there. Speaking in heat, I see it. It is what it is. So, are my people dumb? Are the opposite people dumb? No, it's about business. It's about what makes money. If it makes money, you're going to see us. It's just like that. So people don't give a fuck about this white Christ or this black Christ. They care about the dollar bill, the almighty dollar. If you can go beyond that, you care more about your DNA, you care more about your ancestral roots, because that's where you can pull your real power from. That's how you become powerful. That's how you can cheat death. That's how you can evolve way beyond what they think you're capable of. It's as simple as that. You have to take it to the next level. You have to develop your own understanding, but you have to have experience. Without experience, you cannot develop your own understanding. So while people are busy being punks, being afraid of this dark, demonic ass energy, as they should, because they are only looking at themselves in the face. They only look at their own chaos. You see this chaos? You looking at this shit? Of course you don't want to deal with this, but it's real. Why? Because our ancestors are angry. They're not fucking nice. I don't know where this shit comes from. Motherfuckers there are not happy that the land got taken over. What, all the shit that happened in America, you think the ancestors want peace after this shit? When we see what's going on the surface of these lands, and it's not about peace. It's about madness. It's about chaos. It's about, you need to shield yourself as an individual, meaning you need to look like the devil to keep motherfuckers off your back. I said that before. That's why I come in this energy. I don't come in this energy being evil. I come in this energy to keep motherfuckers away. That's why you see it ain't nothing stopping this shit, right? So I'm coming real aggressive to shield myself. That's why people keep their space. Ain't nobody gonna even violate this shit. That's why I do it. As a shield, not because I just need to, make people feel uncomfortable. It's a shield, letting it be known if you step wrong, your face will be broken. Something is going to be broken. I'm going to take some dark shit and I'm going to sick it on you because I'm not afraid. Why? Because when you do the will of God, when you do the will of the devil, you don't have karma. I said that before. If you get emotional and do shit, you get emotional and pull the trigger, that's karma. But if that person is supposed to die, someone needs to do the deed, you don't generate karma. That's more like blood money. You want to get rewarded for bad deeds, it has to be divine justice, or as they call street justice in today's terms. It got to be divine justice or street justice. You don't generate karma when shit needs to be done, when people need to be taken out, when people need to be removed. Why? Because nature always shows us that shit needs to die and things are reborn. Nature has no problem with death, just like nature has no problem with life. We are the only ones that have become so soft, like we don't live in a destructive world. This is the lowest planes of consciousness. We are in Malkuth. We're not in Kether, for those who understand the language. We have to build our way back up that tree. So we are at the darkest demonic places. So we have to reflect the energy. If you try to be nice amongst the devils, then you get taken advantage of. But when you are the big devil, the big devil amongst devils, then it's a completely different situation where you would jump over any table and smack the fuck out of anybody, and you have that energy about you. Amongst wolves, amongst devils, when you can supersede that, it's a whole different energy. Like, yo, I'm mad as fuck. Sit at the table mad. Don't sit at the... Namaste. Fuck all that shit. Smash shit. We doing business. Don't fuck with me. Like on some mafia shit, right? Why do you think they bring that energy? Especially if we're talking about, the mafia that started Las Vegas, right? How are you able to do that? These are secrets. How are you able to generate that type of income, that type of money, that type of influence to start a whole economy? These are secrets that take understanding, because you are not afraid to work with darker energies. If we speak about the mafia, if we speak about hip hop, music at all, these are darker energies. This is why when certain people pull on these energies, they get fucked up. If you have not been paying attention, like all these so-called rappers and musicians that end up dying mysteriously, drug overdoses and all that shit, they pulling on energies that they can't handle. They're trying to, let's just say, if somebody tried to pull on like a Jimi Hendrix energy and they don't understand what's required to navigate that shit, how much power you need to contain to do what he did, and you're trying to pull on that energy, it will destroy you. It will wipe you out. But that's for anybody and anything. Like, for example, we have a lot of hip hop artists that try to take on the names of like these Italian mobsters and shit, right? Whatever, right? But then you see the type of lifestyle and the type of bullshit that they're constantly getting into. Why is that? Because you're pulling on energy that's not yours. So all these motherfucking hip hoppers pulling on this Italian mobster energy, and they want to name themselves after this shit, then they wonder why their lives are chaos. Because you're pulling on energy that's not yours. You're trying to mimic something that you are not. However, those who come in their original light, you see that they don't deal with those type of energies. When you have knowledge of self, the Rakims, the Big Daddy Kanes, so on and so forth, we're just going to the origins of hip hop. Because the origins of hip hop, you had to have knowledge of self even to get on the mic. You had to have something to say to even step to the mic. It's not like it is now. You had to know who you had to have some sense of self. You had to know who you was to even step on the mic, to even have something to say. That is completely changed. You don't need to know nothing now to step on the mic because there's no more requirements. However, when you come from that tree, you don't change. You understand that there is nothing to say if you're not speaking game. If you're not giving knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, there is nothing to say. You're not going to get in front of people. You're not going to stand on the stage and speak about some bullshit that don't matter. You're going to speak about some mundane, worldly shit, some energy that you're pulling down on yourself. You name yourself after Italian mobsters, then that's the type of energy you're going to bring into your life. It's as simple as that. But some reason, motherfuckers are so addicted and so drawn to this shit. You know what I mean? Trying to be these other motherfuckers because they don't know who they are. How many motherfuckers is pulling from South American energy? Taking titles, taking Aztec titles, Olmec titles, putting on the Olmec shit. That's why we wear bandanas, for the people that don't know. That bandana just mimics the Olmec helmet. Anyway, But it's not too many people that pull on that energy, but that's why we don't see things moving the way we moving. We're trying to pull on shit that don't have nothing to do with us, instead of pulling on things that actually do relate to us. We have family and people all over the Americas. We can pull our energy from anywhere in the Americas. If you were born here, if you were stationed here in America, North, Central, or South, you can pull energies because your roots are there. Your roots are in the fucking land. But if you go to fucking Italy, if you have no fucking roots there, then what are you doing? So you're gonna skip your whole fucking landmass and go somewhere else that has nothing to do with you. That's why we have the problems we have, because we're going right over the ancestors, going into some other shit that don't have nothing to do with us. The mob don't even fuck with niggas like that. So I don't even understand why mothers, like, as if the mob was just cool with niggas. They was not. They was not fucking putting you on no pedestal. They was just looking at you like everyone else, selling you drugs and shit, selling to your mom. It's like but you honor this shit. But this is ignorance. This is when you don't have knowledge of self. You're not even thinking this deeply. Your mind doesn't. You don't have a fucking mind, so you can't put these things together to realize, like, oh, this is why my life is the way it is. Where you can have an abundance of money, but you got an abundance of problems. That's what we see, right? These people have an abundance of cash, but an abundance of problems. Stay have to pay these lawyers. Stay going through shit. Stay, battling and all this. It's like there's no rest, because you're pulling on energy that's not yours. But if you pull on energy that's yours, you are more powerful than all these other motherfuckers. Why? That's why Tupac Machiavelli was so powerful, because he was not doing any of that. Why? What do I mean? And I'll end it here. Again, we don't have to talk too long. Machiavelli, he started the Immortals, the outlaw immortals, right? And each of these people were blood relatives. So let's keep that in mind. So Tupac didn't just start a group with a bunch of random motherfuckers that don't have no relation. All these people are related. So all these people are connected through the bloodline. All these people are connected through blood, for one. The blood connection. Now, all of these people within this outlaw immortals, even that word outlaw immortal, if you break it down numerically, you can get more from it, but we don't have to do that right now. Each one of these outlaws had a name of a supreme lord, of a ruler, right? Again, we don't have to go through the names. I don't want to mention them. You know how YouTube is, whatever. This is science, right? We're going to take blood relatives and we're going to attach their energy to a supreme lord, not a fucking mobster, a supreme lord, someone who has actual political influence, right? How many hip hoppers do you see that have political influence other than Jay-Z, right? You don't really see rappers and politicians getting along, right? Because like politicians, like, why the fuck would I get along with a rapper? What the fuck do they have to say? And they're absolutely right. Why the fuck would you align yourself with a rapper who ain't saying shit? However, if you were saying shit, then politicians will merge with you instantaneously. That's the power of the word. That's the power of the tongue. If you were actually spitting game, actually speaking knowledge, then no one will have a problem with aligning themselves with you, because you represent something real. You don't represent the illusion, you represent the reality. As long as you represent the reality and stand for truth, then you don't have any problems. It's as simple as that. Your legacy lives on when you represent and you stand on the truth, even if it costs you your life. It's as simple as that. Because truth is more valuable than life, in the sense of the martyrs, like someone who dies in the name of truth. Like they say, it goes back to even ancient times. Like warriors that die on the battlefield automatically go to heaven. Like if you die in the name of, or a good purpose, in the name of a god or a good purpose, you automatically go to heaven. So people didn't have problems. Even if we go back to ancient America, because another reason why people don't really fuck with the Aztecs, because they were into human sacrifice. So, when we think about the Illuminati and blood sacrifice, we look at these people as crazy. However, blood sacrifice started with us. We created that shit. That shit didn't start with the Illuminati and whoever, these fucking Masons. That started with us, the Aztecs. What do I mean? Because it was an honor. It was an honor to be an envoy for spirit. What do I mean? People will actually fight each other to be the martyr, to be the vessel of spirit. So you will have warriors battle each other, and the winner dies. The winner becomes the sacrifice. It was an honor to sacrifice yourself for a good cause, right? But In today's times, because we have been subjected to religion, we look at things completely different. Like, I don't want to die. Why would I die for that cause, right? It's completely different. So, it was an honor to be considered an ancestor. It was an honor to be considered someone who died for a divine purpose, who fought for the people, and who still works on behalf of the people. Because even if you was a blood sacrifice, you are still working on behalf of your people. You're just doing so in the spiritual realm. You pretty much evolved from Malkuth directly to Kether. Basically, that's because that's what heaven would be if we're talking about the tree of life. If you were the blood sacrifice, you were on Malkuth, shot directly to Kether, without having to go through all these other orbs that most people have to go through. But if you don't understand the science, then none of this makes sense. And most people, none of it, they can't put it together. They're like, oh, what? They automatically get turned off when they hear some devilish shit or some demonic shit. They automatically get turned off. They turn the other way. Because they're like, yo, why would God be, with that? Or why, that's of the devil, that's with the devil, that's witchcraft, that's sorcery, that's necromancy, that's Satanism. But that's exactly who the fuck we are. We're some satanic, demonic, devilish motherfuckers. That's why we are the most hated. Not because we say so, but because our blood goes back that far. To even be associated with the devil means you are an older soul. No one's calling these young motherfuckers devils. No, it's the older souls. So if you align yourself or someone else aligns you with the devil, that means you are an older soul. That doesn't mean you are newer soul, because these newer souls are more Christ-like. They're more like the Horos. They're more like the new Aeon. We're talking about this older, devilish energy. Again, if you study the tarot, the devil card is between Teberith and Hud, or the sun and Mercury. So what sits between the sun and Mercury? Because the sun is the solar light, then Mercury is a messenger. So what sits between the solar light and the messenger? The devil. Why? I'm not going to answer that question. You can answer it for yourself. But why does the devil sit between the sun, and the messenger? Because somehow they say like the devil is omnipresent, right? The devil can be anywhere. The devil is a spirit. That's why they say it. Because the devil sits between the sun and Mercury, or Teberith and Hud, or beauty and splendor, the path. But again, this is Kabbalistic knowledge. But if you don't understand it, it makes no fucking sense. Most people don't even know nothing about Kabbalistic science. They stop at occult science. They stop when they know about, let's just say, alchemy. Let's just say astrology. Let's just say the tarot. I see this shit all over YouTube. You got tarot readers in abundance, astrology readers in abundance. Very few alchemists, because you have to actually know chemistry. To be an alchemist, you have to actually know chemistry. So if you try to learn alchemy, it's basically teaching you chemistry. And if you don't have the mind for it, then of course it's not going to register. So you have very, very few alchemists. But again, abundance of tarot readers, abundance of astrologers. But how many Kabbalists do you have? How many motherfuckers is breaking down the tree of life? How many motherfuckers is breaking down the clip off? Right? It's not too many. It's very few. Why? Because people stop in their comfort zone. Whatever their comfort zone is, that's where they stay. So if they master the tarot, that's where they stay. If they mastered astrology, that's where they stay. If they mastered alchemy, that's where they stay. They never think, let me actually merge all of these sciences together in one holistic science that we call the Kabbalah. Very, very few people get to that level. Why? Because it takes a different type of mind to still have a hunger when you have mastered it all. When you have mastered the 3 occult sciences and you still have a hunger, you still have a thirst for more, that means there's something older in you. If you still want more, when you're just eating up knowledge, like it's just, I don't even know what to compare it to. Like, what would you eat real fast? I don't even know. Just when you have an ultimate hunger and you can't satisfy it, right? Some people have this thirst for money. Some people have this thirst for women. Some people have this thirst for men. When you have that thirst for wisdom, then you are unstoppable. When your thirst is not in Malkuth, instead is in Kether. When your thirst comes from Kether instead of Malkuth, then it's a whole different way of life, because you can pull from deeper sources. Once you master the tree of life, then you master the tree of death, which we call the clip-off. The tree of life, the tree of death. But most people who know about the tree of life, who know about the Kabbalah, will not touch that tree of death. They don't want nothing to do with it. They don't teach on it. They don't speak on it. They say stay away from it. That's that evil shit. No, that's that demonic original shit. Before you even had a tree of life, you had a tree of death. The tree of life comes from the tree of death. But they're not going to ever teach you about that. Meaning they're only going to give you 50% of the information, then motherfuckers think they know something because they only got 50% of the game. You only got 50% of the game walking around like you got 100%. That's where we fucked up, right? You have to have 100%. You have to master the tree of life and the tree of death, the angels and the demons. We have to be holistic. Right? We have to know what we're capable of. You have to realize that we can control the weather. Just like we can control our thoughts, we can control the weather. Just like we can influence other people's thoughts, we can influence things as well. The mind is all. That's the first law, right? The law of mentalism. The mind is all, right? Just that one law. We ain't even got to speak about the other 6. Just that one law changes everything. The law of mentalism. I'm like, all right, so it ain't about my physical vessel at all. It's all about my mind. But what is the mind? See, that takes you to, you have to know what the mind is. The mind has nothing to do with this. The mind is like a consciousness that can take form. It's like ectoplasm, for those who even know about ectoplasm. That's more in alignment with what the mind is. It's like it's not centralized anywhere. The mind is all, meaning there is no central location. Right? The mind can be anywhere it needs to be. Why? Because you can close your eyes and be wherever you want to be. You can close your eyes right now and be anywhere on this planet without space and time being a factor. You can place yourself anywhere on this planet, any star constellation. You can place yourself anywhere mentally. Why? Because the mind encompasses all of that space, all of that time. The mind exists in all of these dimensions. That's why we can place ourselves anywhere. So because the mind has no central location, it is all. That's why that's the first law. So if you don't understand that, magic will make no sense if you don't understand that one basic law. Well, the mind is not in a centralized location. Even though our physical vessels are in a centralized location, the mind is not limited the same way the physical vessel is. So we place more emphasis on the mind than we do the physical vessel, and that's when we are able to expand. Right? We realize that we are all. If the mind is all, that means we are all. If we are the mind instead of the body, that means we are all. So the mind is all, that means we are all. That means we're omnipotent. That means you are God. That means you are self-sufficient. Right? So at the end of the day, fear will hold you back from all reality and keep you in illusion. It's the demons that break the ground so that you can form new ways of thinking, ways of thought, ways of going about life and navigating through these hellish realms. We have to learn how to navigate through the hellish realms. If we cannot navigate through the hellish realms, we are not even going to understand heaven. You can't understand heaven if you didn't go through hell. We have to go through hell and make our way to heaven, right? It's a process. It's called the great work. The great work is you realize, you become conscious, like, oh shit, I'm in hell. What the fuck have I been doing? What the fuck have I been thinking? This is the first level of consciousness. You wake up, you realize, like, oh shit, what the fuck? What have I been doing? You stop blaming the government. You stop blaming a girlfriend, a boyfriend, your work, your boss. You stop all that shit. Like, what the fuck have I been doing? So let me live the same life I'm living with a different mentality. Then everything changes. Just as simple as that. I tried this myself. You know what I mean? I was doing the experiments. You know, when I had a job, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna use mantras one day, and I'm not gonna use them another day. I'm gonna use them one day, then not use them. Use them, then not use them. Right? Like a scientist. Every time I used them, shit changed. Shit was different than when I didn't use them. It was a regular mundane ass day when I didn't use them. But every time I did use them, it was a certain event that happened that was in direct correspondence to the mantra that I was generating. I'm like, that would not have happened if I was not generating this energy. I was charging my aura with a certain type of energy, and that energy attracted a certain circumstance to my life every single fucking time. Why? Because we generate the energy and we attract it to us. So we talk about the law of attraction, but who the fuck is talking about how do you generate the energy so that anything is attracted to you in the first place? People don't even understand magnetism. Attraction is magnetism. Magnetism means you are drawing shit to you. Electromagnetism is a beam of energy that generates an aura. So the aura has to be generated because you have this electric beam. That electric beam is your thought. So your thought being projected generates an aura. So an aura is generated around that thought that's projected. Then that aura that's generated will start to magnetize things to you. but you have to direct it. That direction generates an aura, and that aura magnetizes particles to you, which evolves into your life as circumstances. But you see, that's basic electromagnetism. So all these motherfuckers talking about the law of attraction, they don't even understand basic science. Because if you understand basic science, you wouldn't be telling people about attraction. You would be telling people how to generate the energy so that you can attract. You have to generate the energy first. But you don't hear people talking about how to generate energy, right? You don't hear people talking about chi, pranayama, how to move the energy with your mind. And they don't go into the breath science, right? That's more Eastern, because they're more on point with that. Because they don't say shit about the law of attraction. They're all about energy generation. That's why they have a whole science dedicated to chi. You learn that shit in school when you're over there. If you are in the East, you learn about chi while you're in school, and they implement the knowledge of chi, which is energy. They implement that knowledge into all walks of life. You come to America, they don't even acknowledge this shit. There is no word for chi. There's no word for energy. They don't even acknowledge the shit that this exists. You're not going to read no science books and they're talking about energy. They're talking about pranayama. They're talking about breath control and breath work. We're not learning that shit over here because they don't even acknowledge it. But they do acknowledge it over there. So who's right, who's wrong? It's not about who's right or who's wrong. You have to take the Eastern knowledge and fuse it with the Western knowledge. So it ain't about, again, it's not to say that the West is wrong, the East is right. They are both right in their own right. So America isn't necessarily wrong for not embracing it. They just have a different way of doing it. However, if you don't apply that American information to the Eastern information, then you only have 50%. You only have 50%. You need the knowledge of chi. That's going to teach you how to generate energy. So when you actually apply the law of attraction, because that's a Western thing, the law of attraction, again, most people don't even know where that even comes from. It's a Western thought. The law of attraction comes from the West. It don't come from the East. It comes from the West. However, what influenced that comes from the East. So when you take that Eastern knowledge and combine it with the law of attraction, which is a Western thought, you take it to its origins, then you have a more holistic view of what is actually being understood. This is the difference between occult knowledge and occult understanding. You learn how to fuse these schools of thought together so that they can be harmonious, so that you can understand chi as well as bioenergy. Somebody said bioenergy, so you have to understand both. So if the West teaches bioenergy, you need to understand chi. You need to understand pranayama. You need to understand yoga. You need to understand meditation. Apply all that to bioenergy, then you're the supreme master. As simple as that. You apply that Eastern knowledge to what we learn in the West, you become the supreme master because you have everything that they don't have. You have everything that they don't have because you can't learn it in school, right? Scientists would call this quantum entanglement. Right, that's what I mean. We have quantum entanglement. We have quantum mechanics. We have these words in the West. Science have these words, dark matter, dark energy, but they can't tell you what it is. The East tells you what it is. That's the difference. The West want to keep you in the dark. So they talk about it's dark energy, it's dark matter, but they can't tell you what it is. We don't know what it is. We know it's there, but we don't know what it is. We don't know the function. They're just leaving you in the dark. But the East, the yogis, the ancient yogis, was actually explaining the shit that somehow they just can't figure out. Why can't they figure it out? Why? Because they rely on machines. They're trying to build machines to see what the yogis saw with their divine eye. And they're not going to be able to duplicate that. They had to build microscopes and telescopes to see the stars. They had to build telescopes to see the stars. They had to build microscopes to see the subatomic particles. We had already seen both, as above, so below, with our divine eye. We had already did that. We didn't have to build telescopes or microscopes because we had a divine eye. The same way a telescope works, the same way a microscope works, the same way the divine eye works. So we didn't have to build it. So that's why the West feels like they're so superior. Well, if you go back in the past, they didn't have the instruments that they had. That's the one argument that the West, they say we're more advanced now than the ancients because we have more machinery and more tools. No, we just didn't need. There was no need for us to build those things because we had this activated. Well, you don't need to build a telescope when you can zoom in directly to the stars. You don't need a telescope. All you need is some psychedelic drugs or some deep yoga and meditation, and you can do whatever you want with your third eye. That's the difference. The East understands that. So everything that's a mystery in the West is not a mystery in the East. That's why we have to go to the East. All the questions that are left unanswered in the West are answered in the East. Simple as that. Whatever is a mystery in the West is not a mystery in the East. So you have to merge them together. So do not allow the West to keep you in the dark, because they can't build machines to, you know, to match the third eye. They never will match it. However, that does not mean we have to not know what's actually going on. We just have to go to where the root is, where the source is, which is the East. Combine the East with the West, then you have the supreme science. Merge them together. Use them as one science, the angelic, the demonic, the 72 with the 72, the 144. This is the supreme science, not one over the other, one with the other. East and the West, law of attraction, pranayama, so on and so forth. Everything that the West has, the East has a counterpart. Fuse them together as one science, then you have the ultimate life that you ever, forever, and will ever manifest. We out. I appreciate the $10 donation. Aurel, we out of here. I'll take it easy. 1.